Time. Yo, so it's Mr. Price here, and I decided to make this video. I've been using Google Maps for, let me say, I've used Google Maps a couple of times, and I noticed some things about Google Maps. I realized that I can pick some lessons from there. So that's what I'm here to share. So first of all, Google Maps knows everywhere. That's the first thing. Second of all, Google Maps knows how to redirect you back onto the path after you miss your way, right? It finds the nearest possible route for you to get back on track. And then the third thing is that you don't require so much data to use Google Maps. Three very important lessons. So starting from the first one, make a note for my video. So these three lessons, there are three things we can learn from them in relation to God, right? And in relating with God. First of all, God knows everything. He has made some promises to you and I. One of them is that He will give us an expected end. One of them is that for our sakes, He was poor so that we may become rich, and a long list of them. So God knows all things, and God has made some promises to us. So He's leading us to a certain destination. So He knows the destination. He knows where we are headed. He has that mapped out. Number two is that no matter how many mistakes we make, just like Google Map knows how to redirect you and bring you back on track, God knows how to bring us back on track because He has the map in His hands. I mean, He's the author of life. He's the creator of heaven and earth. He knows everything. So no matter how lost we get, God can always get us back onto the path of life, onto the path that leads us to where He has purpose for us to be. The third thing is that you don't require much, data to use Google Maps. That's one thing I noticed. With as little as maybe 100 megabytes, or even you can even use Google Maps with like 10 megabytes or something. You don't need so much. The point is, in our dealing with God, God says faith as small as a mustard seed. Is that not so? God says if you have such small faith, you can move mountains. So God is not asking for so much, not like YouTube streaming. Using Google Maps requires less data, and serving God requires you trusting God and putting your faith in Him. Your faith is the data, and it's not supposed to be so huge. It's just supposed to be legitimate, and it's supposed to be there. And another thing about the data I realized is that you need that data to keep in touch with maps, right? To stay connected, or else without the data you cannot even use Google Maps. So in the same way, without faith you cannot even relate with God. And these are three important lessons I feel Google Maps can teach us in our relationship with God. I hope you find it useful. Yes, sir.